Hey, what's up? Hello, my name is Emma and today I am filming a 24-hour reading vlog. I've been wanting to do a 24-hour readathon for quite a long time and two exciting things happened that made me want to celebrate. Number one, I finally got a beautiful new vlogging camera. If you watched my England vlog, you would know that my camera broke while I was on vacation in England, and I haven't had a vlogging camera for the past almost year. Wow, it really has been a year now. So I finally sucked it up and bought a new one, so I'm currently filming from my new Canon G7X Mark II. What better way to celebrate with a new camera than a reading vlog? And also, I recently finished my summer semester of school. I am now 2 years into my master's program for clinical mental health counseling. I have 1 full year left, and it feels so good to be on break for the month of August. So it felt like the perfect time to film this reading vlog. It is currently 11:55 p.m. on July 31st. I don't really have any goals for this reading vlog. I just want to read as much as I can and enjoy as much literature as possible for the next 24 hours. So I have 2 books I'm going to be picking up to start. Will I finish them? Will I start other books? No one knows yet. It's a surprise to us all. So, future Emma from this reading vlog popping in here to say that if you are watching and looking for your next new favorite book, look no further than Book of the Month Club, who is kindly sponsoring today's video. Book of the Month Club is a subscription service that helps people discover the best new book releases. So every month they choose 5 books that are typically new releases, debut authors, sometimes early releases, and each month you are able to choose 1 to be shipped right to your door. They offer a wide array of different genres, from mysteries to romance to science fiction and fantasy and even historical fiction. I've been a big fan of Book of the Month for many years now. I've read a ton of books that I've really loved, and I wouldn't have thought to pick them up if they weren't choices for the month. And I also find it to be a really economical way to buy books, as typically it is a $14.99 a month subscription. But if you use the code READON, you can get your first box for only $9.99. A book I am super interested in from their August choices is The Unraveling of Cassidy Holmes by Alycia R. Sloan. This story tells the rise and fall of a celebrity pop icon, and it is told through different perspectives, different timelines, and it sounds really intriguing. Next we have The Space Between Worlds by Micaiah Johnson, and this seems like a super cool science fiction about multi-dimensional travel, but also some themes of identity and privilege. Something about doppelgangers and clones. Atomic Love by Jennifer Fields, which is a historical fiction about a physicist who is employed by the FBI to spy on her colleague and lover. Next we have The Death of Vivek Oji by Akwaeke Emezi. This story follows a mother in Nigeria who discovers her son's body lying on her doorstep, and it seems to have some really strong themes of spirituality. And finally, The Night Swim by Megan Golden, which follows a true crime podcaster who gets swept up in a current ongoing rape trial case. So if you are interested in checking out any of these books and so many more, you can use the link in the description and the code READON to get your first Book of the Month box for $9.99. The first book is the audiobook I'm going to be starting in the morning, and that is The Black Flamingo by Dean Atta. This is a book that I recently hauled, and I had so many of you guys give rave reviews for, talking about how much you loved it, so I decided to pick it up. I believe this is a coming-of-age story for a young mixed-race gay teen. From what I know about the story, our main character discovers the world of drag and creates this persona for himself called the Black Flamingo. I decided to pick this one up on audio because I believe it's only like 4 hours long, as the entire novel is written in verse, so I know it's going to be really quick to get through, and I feel like when I'm mostly prioritizing physical reading tomorrow, I wanted something quick and easy to listen to. As for my physical book, I had no real plans for what I wanted to read, so I decided to do an Instagram poll between 2 books I like randomly picked off my shelf, and you guys decided to go with An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. My conception of this story has always felt a little flawed, but to my understanding, it follows a girl named April and her friends as one day these like giant 10-foot tall statue-like things just like appear everywhere. April and her friends publish like a video about it and it goes viral, and so it follows the story of them like trying to uncover what the Carls are and what they're doing here. This is another one I've heard really good reviews for. It seems like an interesting blend of like science fiction and contemporary, which is a type of genre I really love to read about, and I figured it's something that I could probably fly through quickly, so we're gonna see how it goes. Up, it is midnight, which means it is time for me to dive into my first read. I gotta be honest, I am feeling really tired. Like, all I want to do is just go to bed right now. But I made a promise to myself that I would stay up to start this vlog, and I'm gonna do a little bit of reading before I get to bed. Yes, unfortunately, I will not be reading for exactly 24 hours. A girl needs her beauty sleep. But first, let's start an absolutely remarkable thing. Alrighty, it is 12:11 p.m. and I am starting my 24 hours of reading now. So I do this thing, I think I got this online, when every time like a movie or a TV show or a book says the title, I just go, roll credits. And it happened on page 4, it said, and then tomorrow we forget about it in favor of some absolutely perfect and remarkable thing. Roll credits. So I was going to give you guys an update after I finished reading last night, but I fell asleep while reading. Who is surprised? Absolutely no one. I always fall asleep while reading, but I was looking ahead of myself and I left it open to my page. I made it to page 14. No, that's so wrong. I totally read more than that. I made it to page 35 and I'm already thoroughly enjoying this book. I like the writing style. It is like quirky and realistic, if that makes sense. Like the main character has a very unique form of narration, but it's super easy to read, which is like just what I need for today. I'm not that far in at all. Like the Carls appeared and April and her friends made the viral video that's gone viral now. That's where I am. So it is currently 7:01 a.m. I am naturally an early riser. It sucks. But it's a good thing for today because that means I can get more reading done. So what I am doing first thing this morning is I am going to the beach with my mom. We are going to go down to Long Beach and just sit in the sand and read this morning, and I'm really looking forward to it. So as I get ready for that, I am going to start my audiobook, The Black Flamingo. So as I'm listening to Black Flamingo, I'm currently on, it says chapter 7 of 16, which I'm like, I'm gonna need another audiobook today. I am loving the book so far. It is absolutely fabulous, but I wanted to film a clip because, so the author is British and it takes place in England, and I distinctly notice that the author, who is the narrator, keeps saying soccer. And each time I'm so confused. I'm like, they do not call it soccer over there. Like, why is he saying soccer? And so I wonder if in the American version of The Black Flamingo, every time it says football, it's changed to soccer. I am walking to Starbucks and I'm going to be listening to my audiobook because we are making the most of every minute of this 24-hour readathon. Look at what I decided to bring to the beach. I found this awesome tote in my closet yesterday and I was like, oh my god, this is destiny for my reading vlog. I got this tote at BookCon 2019, I believe, right before an absolutely remarkable thing came out, and it is totally getting its use today. So Mama Books and I made it to the beach. I have been listening to more of the Black Flamingo while I've been like setting up my space here for the day. I put together a delicious breakfast for myself this morning. First, I got a pink drink from Starbucks, which is my favorite cold drink there. Then I also got an everything bagel toasted with cream cheese because this is Long Island and that's what we do in Long Island. I also have some chocolate hazelnut yogurt and a good book. LOL. So it is currently 11 o'clock and I have been reading like a fiend. I'm on page 111, so I'm like a third of the way through my book already. First off, I did not know this book was queer. Like, I'm a little offended, no one told me, but I am always super excited when I open a book and there are multiple characters from the LGBTQ+ community. I really like all of the characters so far. I think that April is a fascinating protagonist to read from. Her quick rise to fame and desire for power has been really interesting to watch so far, and I'm still only in the beginning of the book. There's like definitely people watching me film on the beach and it's slightly uncomfortable. Where I currently am in the story, they think that the Carls might be alien and there is some super interesting stuff going on. I'm thoroughly enthralled with this book. I cannot stop reading and that's exactly what I'm gonna keep doing. Mama Books, what are you reading?
The Red Scrolls of Magic.
And how do you like it?
I do like it. It's pretty good. Look at how far I am.
Yeah, you're almost done.
Almost done.
You're very close.
Yeah.
What's been your favorite part of the book so far?
You have to ask.
Yeah.
Agnes.
Well, obviously. So it is currently about 12:30. It is 12:39 and Mama Books and I are going to head home for the day. I went into the water a couple of times and it felt so great. I loved the waves today. There's been a lot of shark sightings along the Long Island coast recently, so all day I have just been singing, "Baby, there's a shark in the water," from that one Degrassi promo. And by that one Degrassi promo, I mean the single greatest television promo that has ever been created. So we're gonna head home. I'm gonna hop in the shower, maybe have some lunch, and get right back to reading. I know I haven't really updated you on the Black Flamingo, which I am planning on doing very soon, but apparently I am just like the last person to find out that drag actually is an acronym for dressed resembling a girl. I thought I was like mildly familiar with the drag community. I've been to drag shows in New York City. I've watched a bit of RuPaul's Drag Race, but I did not know this very valuable piece of information. I am already almost done with this book though. I'm on like chapter 12 of 16. I have been flying through it as I knew I would, but I've been loving every second of it. Honestly, I had this moment earlier where I was like, I could just re-listen to The Black Flamingo all over again, but this is a 24-hour reading vlog. I feel like this is not the right time to do that. So maybe let's just read it once first. So I am showered, clean, and feeling extra tan. I listened to more of The Black Flamingo while I was in the shower and putting my lunch together. I'm still on chapter 12, and so I don't think I mentioned that I'm listening to it on Scribd. The chapters are very unevenly spaced, so like chapter 12 that I'm currently on is an hour and 30 minutes, and then the last like 4 chapters are like 3 to 15 minutes. So I am very close to finishing my first read of the day. I adore this book so far. I feel the pacing of the story is really well done, especially for a novel written in verse. I always say I am not a poetry reader. I've like never gravitated towards poetry, but I have been plowing through a ton of books in verse lately. And I feel The Black Flamingo is great for people like me who don't read a ton of poetry, because although the writing is really well done and it totally has this like lyrical nature to it, it still feels like it's written as a normal novel. I feel like this could definitely be attributed to the author who is narrating the audiobook, and he obviously is going to read his own story very well, but for me it is just coming across like as such an easy read and one that's very engaging. Oh, I wanted to show this in this vlog because I only just remembered. Look at how gorgeous the underneath cover is. It's hot pink with little flamingos on it. I thought it was cool. I have been adoring the different discussions around identity in this book. In the back, Dean Atta's bio says that he has written many poems on topics of identity, gender, and race, and that totally comes across in his debut YA novel. I'm pretty sure this book is Own Voices, but I want to make sure. Okay, yes. Finally, Wikipedia is the one to come through. So Dean Atta is also mixed race, Black Caribbean, and Greek, and also gay. So that's obviously where a lot of the authenticity of Michael's voice comes from. Although I personally didn't have the experience of being out during my adolescence, I feel like this is a very realistic depiction of teenagehood and what I know of what many queer teens go through. Honestly, it's just as good as everyone has been saying, so I'm really glad that I picked this one up. And then for an absolutely remarkable thing, I am on page 183. I am flying through, and I am also loving this one so much as well. I made some really good choices for this reading vlog. I think I talked about how I've enjoyed the writing style so far. I like the narration from April's point of view. Now I promise I am not just saying this because they are brothers, but I feel like this is a good book for anyone who has enjoyed John Green's books. I feel like an absolutely remarkable thing is much more grounded in reality despite this like science fiction alien twist. And John Green's books are a little more pretentious. But I just feel like even if the authors were not connected whatsoever, just from the premise of this book and John Green's other books, I just feel like they fit together. This book also has a really interesting commentary on like social media, the digital age, the influence of the internet. It talks about the power that our voices hold when we have a following and how suddenly a following can be thrust on upon us. And part of what it makes it feel so real is that like almost anyone could be April or Andy. Like any of us could just be walking and suddenly discover something on the street, take out our phones to record it, which is what we do nowadays, and just post it online, and suddenly your whole life is changed. It happens to people all the time, and so I think it's just a very interesting perspective and one that's valuable to follow. So now I am going to eat my sandwich that I made for lunch while reading more of my physical book, try and make some progress on there, and then we'll decide what to do after. I'm gonna be listening to my reading music playlist while I read and eat, and if you guys are interested in checking out the music that I like to listen to while I read or following me on Spotify, I will definitely leave that link in the description. update you guys with time before. It's currently 2:48 p.m. I am still in bed reading after lunch. I am on page 219, and I have now discovered one thing that I do not like about An Absolutely Remarkable Thing. I am personally not a fan of the pacing. This book obviously takes place over like a longer period of time, and in a shorter novel that's only like 330 pages, that can be hard to do. The pacing is kind of just like a little all over the place. There are certain passages that are like a couple of days in a row, and then there are times where like it picks up weeks later. And maybe I didn't notice this in the beginning because the pacing wasn't bothering me, but I didn't realize that like there were even dates in the very beginning. It felt like they kind of started halfway through for me. I feel like sometimes a scene will just like end and then it abruptly picks up somewhere else, so I kind of wish that was a little bit more balanced. Nonetheless, I am still really enjoying it, and I think I'd like to make a little bit more progress before I jump into doing something else for today. So Hank Green just explained the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand way better than any of my global history classes. Okay, so you know how sometimes when you're reading a book, like 2 pages will kind of be like a little stuck together? I hate when that happens, and I always pull them apart a little bit, and I know it kind of damages the book, but I don't care. But I ripped my page. I'm a disaster, it's fine.
See, how are you just gonna say it was a couple of weeks later? Like, I wanna know what happened in those weeks.
So I decided to take out my braids and do some makeup for me to feel a little bit more put together today. And I did so while listening to more of the Black Flamingo. It seems like the chapters on Scribd are like different from the book, so I don't know how to like directly gauge how far along I am for you guys, but I'm really close to being done. And with An Absolutely Remarkable Thing, I read up to page like 303, so I only have like 30 to 40 pages left. I'm definitely finishing it today. I'm definitely finishing both of these books today, so I should really plan out what other books I'm gonna read. Right now what I should be doing though is throwing together some food before I go to my pole class tonight. Now I have not been to pole in like 5 months, obviously, because of the pandemic. My studio has only recently reopened for very small classes. The good thing about pole dancing is it was like made for social distancing. The poles are 6 feet apart to start, and we only allow like 5 people in a class and in the studio at one time. And also when you're in a studio pole training, you are just like constantly wiping down your pole with alcohol, because otherwise all of your sweat and stuff gets stuck to the pole and you won't stick to it as well. So it's all been very safe. I've been doing a short 3-day intensive workshop with heels, and tonight is our last night. So I'm really excited to show you the choreography that we've been working on and to like put it all together. But I must nourish my body first, so I'm going to listen to more of the Black Flamingo and hopefully find something to eat. So just as I finished cooking, I also finished my first book of today's 24-hour readathon, which was The Black Flamingo. I will say I feel like this book ended a little quickly for my taste. I just have a pet peeve where like I hate when the climax of the story happens and then like as soon as that's revolved, it's the epilogue and everything's tied up. I like to see like a little bit of falling action. I want to know how the characters are reacting to what just happened. Overall, it was a really stunning book and I'm super happy I read it. But now I have to figure out what other audiobook I'm gonna start today. So for dinner, I decided to make these little dumplings slash pot stickers. As their name would suggest, they did stick to the pot, so they aren't exactly in shape anymore. Listen, I never claimed to be a good cook, and things could have gone much worse. It's going to taste exactly the same. But as much as I would love to read more of An Absolutely Remarkable Thing, I now have to figure out what audiobook I'm gonna listen to on my way to pole. And I have no clue. Alright, so let me tell you about the audiobook situation. First First of all, I forgot my sunglasses and I feel like I can't drive. So as I was eating, I got up from the table and I went into my little library and I was like, all right, what is a super short book I could potentially finish tonight? I randomly decided on In an Absent Dream by Shauna Maguire. Those are all super short novellas. Like the audiobook was only 5 hours and it was on Scribd, and I was like, this is perfect. As I'm trying to change and get ready for poll, I am having trouble playing it. Like, I can download it and the app is working, but I'm not able to actually listen to the audiobook for In an Absent Dream. So it's like, all right, like it had its chance, like let me just pick a different book. So I've mentioned this, I think, on Twitter and maybe Instagram as well, that I'm currently rereading the Mortal Instruments series. This is my 11th time rereading. Oh my gosh. And I just finished City of Ashes last night, so it was like perfect timing for this reading vlog. So I just decided, why not just listen to City of Glass next? Obviously, I'm not gonna finish that monster of a book tonight, but it was gonna be like my next audiobook listen anyways, and I know many of you are Shadowhunter fans, so like let's just spend the rest of the night listening to City of Glass. I feel like unexpected Cassandra Clare should be a thing in my videos. Like anytime I bring up Cassie and her books on a video that is like completely unrelated to her, and it just like naturally comes back to her books in the end. But I'm super pumped, so I'm gonna start listening to City of Glass. From my final day of my pole workshop. I am exhausted. My body has been so sore since yesterday, and like I know today has just pushed it even further, but I'm so happy I went and I had a ton of fun. It felt really good to be active, which I definitely haven't been doing as much during quarantine. It is currently about, oh, this clock is wrong. I think it's close to 10, maybe like in between 9:30 and 10. And I am getting ready to finish an absolutely remarkable thing. I love to indulge in some goodies when I get home from pole, so I decided to get a bowl of Ben & Jerry's fish food, which is my favorite flavor of theirs, and some Cool Whip. And a couple of days ago, I actually made some chocolate covered pretzels. Few of them have peanut butter on them. All I did was just melt chocolate chips and dip pretzels into them, and it was a very easy but now delicious snack. I am a fiend for chocolate. I can never have enough of it, so I am going to just be in heaven while I finish my second book of the day. I finished an absolutely remarkable thing, and I'm so happy I picked up this book. I feel like it was the perfect read for just a day of marathoning a book. It was very fun, unique, and entertaining, but it also had a lot of great commentary on society and social media and technology. I will say I unfortunately did not like the ending of this book. I was really enjoying the whole puzzle of figuring out like who the Carls were and why they were there. And the ending just kind of felt like a cop-out. Like there were no real answers given. And it's one thing to leave a book with some unanswered questions. I think that can be really well done. But when just like nothing of the book gets explained, I'm kind of like, what did I read all that for? I really loved this book. I'm super happy I read it. I now know that Hank Green just published a different book, like A Beautifully Foolish Endeavor might be the title. It's got a similar cover, but I don't know if the two stories are related at all. But what I do know is that I'm totally putting that book on my list because I would love to read more from Hank Green. So it is currently 10:08 p.m. I have just under 2 hours left for my 24 hours of reading, and unfortunately I am really tired. I could literally roll over and go to bed right now. I don't want to sleep. I want to finish reading. So I decided the book that I am at least going to start tonight is Spinning by Tilly Walden. All I really know about this book is that it follows a girl who is a figure skater. I feel like this book has some other themes in it, but I don't know what. It says coming out, it's gay. Wow, I love that I just like happened to pick up 3 gay books today. That makes me really happy. So I think what I'm gonna do next is just snuggle up in bed and start reading Spinning, and we'll see how much I get to tonight. So I think I'm going to be signing off with my audiobooks for tonight. After finishing The Black Flamingo, I got up to chapter 5 in City of Glass. I like just barely started it. Honestly, not much to say from this reading vlog. Like obviously I know this book frontwards and backwards, but I don't really have anything new to say. Jace is an ass, Clary's impulsive, Simon gets dragged into stuff he never asked for. I'm so happy to be rereading The Mortal Instruments. City of Glass is one of my favorites in this series, so I'm really looking forward to finishing this installment. And now it is time for me to start spinning. So I actually decided to make a nice big cup of tea because I, like I said, am very, very sleepy. I go through like 2 main phases. One, which is what I'm currently going through, where I get sleepy around like 9:30, 10 p.m. and I'm always waking up at like 6:30 in the morning. And then there are other times that I don't fall asleep until between like 12 and 1 a.m. and then I still wake up at like 7:30 in the morning. It is 10:38, so I have about an hour left, a little bit more, and we are going to power through as best I can. So I am up to page 122 on Spinning. I know that sounds like a lot for me reading in like 20 minutes, but it's a graphic novel, so there's not a lot of text, and I feel like I fly through graphic novels at like a very fast pace. It is like a 400-page book, so I'm like approaching the halfway line almost. I am really liking the story so far. The first thing that comes to mind for me is that it feels really raw. I think I didn't realize it was a memoir, but it definitely feels like a memoir. The main character, Tilly, is very honest to the readers, and I feel like we're getting a genuine glimpse into the author's life. I will say there are some things I don't like about it. Number one, again, I don't like the pacing. It's weird. Sometimes there will be like multiple pages dedicated to one scene, and then other ones, a scene will just like stop and another one that's totally unrelated will start. It just doesn't feel cohesive to me, and I don't like it. I wish it was more organized or balanced, or like just the timeline and pacing was elaborated on. And the other thing I don't like about it is like I feel like sometimes the characters are referencing things that they haven't mentioned previously. One example is the main character just like casually says my twin brother, and I'm like, hold on, since when does she have a twin brother? And so there's like 2 pages with one of her brothers. It's It's never established that they're twins or what their ages are. I honestly thought he was younger. And another one is that the main character keeps talking about a girl at school who has been bullying her, and one of the things that she has mentioned more than once is that this girl wrote mean things about her on the bathroom wall. And so I went back twice. I am like wasting precious 24-hour reading time to confirm this, but from the point that this character was introduced to when she first mentions that she was writing things on the wall, there is no scene of the main character like finding something written about her on the bathroom wall. It's literally never established until she just says it happens. Like, I get that it's a memoir and there's probably like many different situations and experiences that are very unrelated pressed into one book, and that can be hard to balance. But it comes across as like this book was longer and there were these scenes explaining this information and they were just cut without adjusting it after editing. I really like the story though. I didn't mention this before, but Go Figure is actually like one of my all-time favorite Disney Channel original movies. It's the one about the figure skater and hockey player, and I love that movie. I rewatch it all the time, and spinning is definitely making me want to like put it on to fall asleep to tonight. I love Go Figure. It gives me all the good feels, and I am definitely enjoying my time reading Spinning. It is currently a little after 11 now, so I have just under an hour left, and we're gonna see how much more progress I can make in Spinning. So it is 12:03 a.m. My 24 hours of reading are done, and I just finished Spinning by Tillie Walden. That makes 3 books that I finished in 24 hours, which is very, very exciting. I don't think I have ever done that before. Wow. I am honestly so tired, like so unbelievably tired. I have been fighting and pushing myself to stay up until the conclusion of the 24 hours. So now I'm going to go to sleep, and I will wrap up this vlog and give some final thoughts on all the books that I read tomorrow. So it is the day after my 24-hour readathon, and I finished a whopping 3 whole books and like 4.1 chapters of another one. These 2 physical books account for like 743 so pages, which I am thoroughly impressed by. The Black Flamingo is another 400 pages, and it was about 4 hours of audiobook listening. I don't have much to report on City of Glass, but I'm thoroughly glad I started listening yesterday. I really enjoyed the Black Flamingo. I think my rating for this one would be 4.5 stars. I just found it to be a really profound story about finding yourself and finding your voice. I love books that have a real rawness and authenticity to them, and I feel like that is just the theme of the Black Flamingo. I also really loved An Absolutely Remarkable Thing. While I think I would give this one a 4-star rating, it was definitely like my favorite reading experience yesterday. I had a lot of fun with the story. I thought the characters were really interesting. My main critiques are that I didn't really like the pacing of it and that the ending was a bit disappointing. But overall, it was a great read. I'm super happy I finally got to this one. As for Spinning, I think I would give this graphic novel a 3-star rating. Still good, but definitely my least favorite compared to the other books I read yesterday. I didn't really have a lot of expectations going into it, but I firstly loved the exploration of sexuality and how Tillie expresses how she came to terms with being a lesbian and being in her first relationships with women. And I also really liked the overarching story of like letting go of something that has previously defined so much of your identity because you find things that you are more passionate about, or you realize that that's not a life that you want to continue with. I think that's a really important message to take away from this book, that like it is okay and encouraged to let go of things that don't bring you joy anymore, and you can be grateful for what it has brought to your life but not need it in the future. I feel like it just also explored feelings of like teenage despair and loss and stress really well. I was also not a fan of the pacing in this one. I just felt like even for a memoir, like the anecdotes and stories were kind of like mishmashed together, if that's even a verb. And I also wasn't personally crazy about the art style. I feel like I like graphic novels with a bit more detail, particularly in character expressions. That's something that's really important to me in conveying the emotions of the story, and it just like wasn't in this author's style. So that concludes my 24-hour reading vlog. I am super happy with all of the progress I made reading yesterday, and I definitely feel like I'm gonna have to do this more often. If you'd like to see more 24-hour reading vlogs from me, please let me know in the comments below, and also like maybe what are some of your favorite things to see in reading vlogs, because I'm always interested in hearing what you guys like to see on my channel. But that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you soon for a new one. Bye!